We haven't even started the play yet, and we have laughter. Good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to see you here. Thank you so much for braving the nasty weather we've had last night. And thanks to everybody that's watching online. I'm glad that you are safe and warm, and I hope you enjoy our brief service and theater production today. We gather today on land that has been shared for millions of years. It was shared by plants and early animals. Eventually, many years after that, it was shared then additionally by the first humans that were here. And then eventually more and more people came and more people shared with the animals and the land. Treaties were formed, and today still we acknowledge that we carry this legacy of sharing amongst ourselves, the first peoples who were here, the land itself, immigrants, refugees, everyone coming together. We also acknowledge that we have not always shared well. Sometimes we have failed in this calling to live in sharing peace and relationship with each other. And so we always still call on ourselves to strive to learn how we are to share with each other. We are going to jump right in. Oh, no, we have reflection music. Please join in our call to worship, which you'll find on the screen in front of you. The love of God is with you all.
And also with you.
Come into worship, into the home of God and God's people. All you who are lonely, come and find loving community. All you who hunger, come and taste the bread of life. All you who are anxious, come and leave your worries behind. In God's world, when we learn to share, there is enough for all. Let us pray. Providing Spirit, your grace is more endless than Saskatchewan fields of grain, more than the expanse of our skies. As we come into worshiping community, we pray that you inspire us to trust in your generosity, set aside worry and greed, and see neighbors as family. We celebrate with gratitude your gifts made known in you, your Son Jesus, and your creation. We sing together the prayer that Jesus taught. please stand as you're able to join in our first hymn, All Who Hunger. Do we have greetings from Lumsden Beach Camp this morning? Excellent.
Hi everyone, my name's Kylie. I have met so many of you before, and you've all probably heard me talk about camp before, but it's been a whole summer since I saw you. And oh boy, did a lot happen. We had about 579 camper registrations this year. Thank you. We had a phenomenal staff base who took challenges as they came and with stride. We had a cook, it's always a positive, and that cook got to be in a brand new dining hall. It was incredibly finished on time, mid-June. We were able to move everything in and be ready for our campers July 3rd. We had a new couple of stoves, which allowed us to will allow us to continue to cook for more people. We have a dishwasher. And if you have ever had to do dishes in our sink that breaks your back, this dishwasher, I tell you, please come out and volunteer now, because it doesn't break your back. We also have air conditioning in that kitchen. Yeah, pretty exciting. And I just want to thank all of you, because I know that this congregation and a lot of you as individuals are a huge part of why this was even possible. When it felt like it just wasn't going to happen, we reached out to our community, and every single time I'm blown away by how our camp community shows up and supports us, whether that's volunteering or donating or sending your kids or putting on a musical. It's incredibly heartwarming, and again, I feel like I repeat myself a lot, but I I'm blown away, and I'm continuously in awe. And so thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you've done, whether it was 50 years ago or last week. Thank you. And thank you, everyone who's a part of this musical. It's wonderful to have camp people put on what I refer to as Mad Camp, because I went to Mad Camp, which was a musical in a week, and it's very similar. My mom, Barb, puts on a musical that I think every time you think, oh, we might not make it for the deadline, and then somehow you all pull it off, which is fantastic and wonderful to see, and lively and fantastic. Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to donate and feel compelled to today, there are lots of envelopes at the back. Cam is pointing at some on this side. Thank you very much. There's also some on this side. Don't worry. Thank you. And we just ask that you put some contact information so that Donna, our lovely bookkeeper, can give you a tax receipt, which is great. If you've already donated and you forgot to put some information on it, find me and I would love to take that for you. But yeah, thank you all so much for your support.
Kathy, what's the maximum amount that somebody can donate?
The maximum? Wow. I would say $20 million. We'll take it. Yeah, there's no minimum though. So if $5, $2, we'll take it. That brings me, I forgot to say, we built a $1.3 million building, which was crazy for a nonprofit to even think about at one point. And because of your generosity, we just have an $80,000 loan left. Yeah. So thank you so much. And as always, I'll be at the back if anyone wants to talk, share stories. Find me later. Thank you.
Our scripture reading today is quite a famous one. It's not only known by people who attend church, but it's one of those readings that has just entered into popular culture because it is so meaningful and so usable to describe so many situations. This is from Matthew's 14th chapter. When he went ashore, he saw a great crowd, and he had compassion for them and cured their sick. When it was evening, the disciples came to Jesus and said, "This is a deserted place, and the hour is now late. Send the crowds away so that they may go into the villages and buy food for themselves." Jesus said to them, "They need not go away. You give them something to eat." They replied, "We have nothing here but 5 loaves and 2 fish." And he said, "Bring them here to me." Then he ordered the crowds to sit down on the grass. And taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and blessed and broke the loaves and gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the crowds. And all ate and were filled. And they took up what was left over of the broken pieces, 12 basketfuls. And those who ate were about 5,000 men, besides women and children. This is not only a famous reading, it's also incredible incredibly important. When I read, this reading is unique in how it is found in the Bible. Mark wrote this story first, and in his gospel. And he seemed to have thought, this is my own imagination here, he seemed to have thought that, wow, this story is so important, I'm going to tell it twice. So it actually ends up in Mark's gospel twice. And then later on, Matthew and Luke, they were writing down their versions of the gospel, and they both saw that story from Mark and thought, yeah, that is good. That's world-changing. That's fantastic. We should include that as well. And Matthew also included it twice. And then many years after that, John was writing his version of the gospel, and now you got to know something about John. I love his gospel. It's great. But he went off in a totally different direction. His gospel has very, very little to do with what the other three gospels were. But even John saw this story and thought, wow, that's good. I want this in my gospel as well. This is the only story in the Bible that appears the same in all four gospels. It's 6 times in 4 gospels. And that's because this is so incredibly important. This miracle completely sums up what the Gospels mean. It means everybody fed, everybody cared for. When we come together with the Spirit of Christ with us, everyone will be fine. But the question remains, when we read these stories, just what was the nature of this miracle?
Broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and corn. Broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and corn. Rutabaga, bok choy, bless you. Ever so onion, there's no peas legume. Peas ever so onion, there's no peas legume. A sweet potato I am, a sweet potato I am. Don't care if folks say, please see it my way. A sweet potato I am. There's no peas legume.
Once upon a time, or thereabouts, in the kingdom of Acapella, there's a village called Oxter. Now, Oxter was not a big village, not like Blinks, or even a large town like Swither. Granted, it was bigger than Neepsville, but not quite as big as Blugendorf. And compared to Skunkle, well, Skunkle had more people than Oxter, but Oxter had Well, actually, all you really need to know is that Oxter was a small town. Small, but happy. Right? That doesn't sound very happy. That sounds more depressed.
We don't have any money.
We don't have any food. We owe 1,000 guilders in taxes.
And we got 3 guilders in the bank.
We used to have the tallest oak tree, but we had to cut it down for firewood.
I stubbed my toe when I got out of bed this morning.
It hasn't been a very good day.
Or week.
The world's a scary place full of bandits and thieves.
It was just at this time that 2 weary travelers walked into town. One was called Canny, and the other was Small. They traveled the world and lived by their wits.
Wandering wonders we, roaming the countryside free,
Seeking our fortune or just a kind word.
Bringing a song or a joke you've not heard.
A day's honest work.
Well, now that one's absurd.
To
wandering wanderers we.
To humble wayfarers we come, seeking to trouble no one. A soft wooden pillow to place at the head, a small glass of water, a stout crust of bread, or a hot tub and pizza would be great instead. To humble wayfarers we come.
Look, Canny, this looks like a nice town.
That's what you said about the last 2 towns before they threw us out on our rumps.
Well, we did take advantage of their kindness, and they did catch on to our little schemes. But this one's different. I can tell. Hi, friends! My name is Small, and this is my boss, I mean my best friend, Canny. We come from east of the sun and west of the moon.
We have crossed vast plains and high mountain ranges, all to get to this village of Oxter, famous world round for its friendliness and hospitality.
Welcome to Oxter. I'm Rudy, the mayor.
Well, how about that, Small? They sent the mayor out to greet us.
How come everybody's looking so glum, Mayor?
It's a long story.
Well, we'd be glad to listen to it over some supper.
I'm sorry, but we don't have any food to spare.
But surely someone will take pity on a poor orphan and a soldier on their way home after years of war.
Oh, that's so touching. Let me just check with the villagers.
No!
I'm sorry.
Not even a crust of bread. Well, it looks like we'll just have to tighten our belts.
But we ate our belts 3 days ago.
Unfortunately for Canny and Small, the poor people of Oxter were convinced that they had nothing to spare. It was like getting blood from a stone.
Did you say stone? At least we've still got the soup stone.
Yes, thank goodness for the soup stone. Now we can make a pot of stone soup.
What? Stone soup?
How do you make soup from a stone? The villagers had to know.
I hope you don't mind us using your pot.
Stone soup. I can hardly wait.
1, 2, 3 times they turned the soup stone. Then a quick wave of the spoon and kerplunk into the pot.
Yes, I really can't wait for that soup. Stone soup now.
Impossible.
Finally, Mayor Rudy decided to investigate.
Kenny, Small, we couldn't help from overhearing. How do you make stone soup?
Very well, if I have to say so myself.
We learned the recipe from the king's personal chef.
The king likes stone soup?
No, the king loves stone soup.
Really?
Really?
Show us how to make it!
Our pleasure.
First you take a pot that is deep and wide. You blow a little luck way down inside.
You take a big mouse spoon and wave it all around. Then you pour a lot of water in a long way down. And you say a little prayer to depend upon. Plop goes the soup stone. Soup song. Soup, stone, soup. Soup, stone, soup.
I'll say it to you now. I'll say it even louder. You'll never have a bowl of soup as rich as this chowder. When the king's head cook used to make it, she threw in at least a handful of salt. Unfortunately, we don't have any salt, and there's no use moaning over what we don't have.
Oh, I'm sure I could find some salt somewhere.
Thank you, Mayor. Perfect.
Oh, could I?
It still has to simmer a bit. I wouldn't want you to taste it until it's ready.
The soup is very tasty, but you mustn't disturb. With the right amount of simmering, it's simply superb. Maybe the job looks simple, but in any fool's power, it takes years and years of training, or
At least a quarter hour. So
hold on to your laurels till the cooking's done.
Down come the soup stone, soup stone.
Soup, stone, soup. Soup, stone, soup.
I'll say it to you now, without the mumbo jumbo, you've never had a bowl of soup as rich as this gumbo.
Do you know what would make this soup even better, Kenny? A couple of carrots.
But we don't have any carrots, and there's no use moaning over what we don't have.
Well, these was moldering in my basement. Guess you might as well have them. But tell me, what does a stone soup taste like?
Yeah, how's it gonna taste and how's it gonna smell?
Well, every soup is different, you can never tell. One day it has the flavor of a trip to Bombay, while the next is like a meadow on a summer's day. It can take you to the Rockies or the Amazon. Power of the soup stone, soup stone, soup stone, soup, soup stone, soup.
Say it to you now, I never lie, of course. You've never had a bowl of soup as rich as this, Porsche.
Again and again, you know what would make this soup taste better. Oh, but there's no use moaning over what we don't have. And again, the ingredient would miraculously appear. Turnips, potatoes, barley, rutabagas, you name it. until the pot was full and bubbling with enough flavorful soup for everyone.
There's just a bit of frost.
We'll soon be supping supper with a bowl of hot broth.
The soup was so wonderful that Mayor Rudy felt inspired to make a toast.
Let's see. As for the spicy dish you made us, oh, what delectable cuisine. You, Small and Canny, brought food when there was not any, and Pete, well, that's later, it may seem.
That the mayor gave them the key to the village. Actually, it was the key to Margaret Mackey's tool shed, but it was the best they could do on short notice.
So that's where those are. I've been trying to get into that shed for 2 years.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Well, we'll just clean up the soup pot and be on our way.
Soup from a stone? I can't believe these people fell for it. These people are about as sharp as a bag of wet spaghetti.
But they are generous and friendly once you get them in the right mood.
Where do you think they got the soup stone from? I don't know.
I bet you it came from outer space. That would explain its eerie powers.
If you ask me, the stone is obviously the fossilized bone of a very holy saint. Perhaps Saint Basil, the patron saint of seasoning.
I wouldn't be surprised if the soup had healing powers.
I was all stuffed up, but that soup completely cleared my sinuses.
And I've been blind for the last 7 years, and now I can see.
No, Margaret, you've been deaf for 7 years.
What'd she say?
Did you hear that the soup stone never loses its flavor? It can make up 1 million bowls of soup and still be good as new.
Oh, wow, a soup stone like that could provide us with over all the food we would ever need.
Oh, well, we need that stone, or it could be catastrophe. We need that stone, or all is lost. We better take this chance, 'cause it could be our last. You see, we need that stone at any cost. Well, we need that stone, or it's a catastrophe. We need that stone, all is lost. Better take this chance, 'cause all the disasters. See, we need that stone at any cost. Well, we need that stone, or it's a catastrophe. We need that stone, or all is lost. Better take this chance, 'cause all the disasters. We need that stone at any cost.
Well, here's the soup back spick and span.
Well, we better be on our way now.
Kenny, Small, we were just wondering if we could have your soup stone?
I don't know. Soup stones are pretty valuable.
We couldn't part with it without some serious compensation.
What they say?
They said they want compensation.
What's compensation?
It's that fog you get on the bathroom mirror when you have a shower.
No, that's condensation.
So what does compensation mean?
Compensation is money. They want money.
So, the villagers put together all the money they had. 1,500 guilders in total, which is kind of funny considering that just a little while ago they were complaining about how poor they were. But, oh well.
So Canny and Small sold the soup stone to the people of Oxter. And then they hightailed it out of town.
Soup, stone, soup. Soup, stone, soup.
The villagers were so pleased with themselves for having purchased a magic soup stone that they decided to make another bowl of soup right there and then to celebrate. So they boiled up the water, and then 1, 2, 3 times they turned the soup stone. They gave a quick wave of the spoon and kerplunk into the pot. And then the villagers grabbed their bowls and they waited. And they waited. And they waited. And when everyone had agreed that the soup had simmered long enough, they started the feast. And when everyone agreed that the soup had simmered long enough, they started the feast.
Soup, stone, soup. Soup, stone, soup.
Well, it's not exactly bursting with flavor.
This isn't soup, it's hot water.
The soup stone is a fake!
They tricked us.
Kenny and Small were found a quarter of a mile out of town, on the road to Skunko. The villagers dragged them back to Oxter to stand trial for their trickery.
You tricked us.
You bamboozled us.
You swindled us.
This stone doesn't make soup. It's a fake. A fake? I don't believe it. Let me see. Here. Here's your problem. This is just an ordinary rock. You must have got it mixed up with the soup stone. Look, there's the soup stone.
Yay! Soup, stone, soup. Soup, stone,
Hey! And how stupid do you think we are?
Luckily, Kenny and Small had the good sense not to answer that question.
You're right. We tricked you, and we are sorry. But the stone is magic. It brought out the most valuable thing that your village has.
Yeah, our bag of money.
No. Your generosity, your willingness to share. That's what made the soup, not the stone. Who came empty to the square? It was you, seeing. Who returned with food to share? It was you, believing. It was you, finding a share. It was you, out of thin air. Who made soup come from a stone? It was you, all along.
Who had closed their hearts and doors? It was you concealing. Who said ours are empty stores? It was you misdealing. It was you hiding away. It was you keeping at bay. Who's the poorer? Who's the wrong? It was you all along. And all the meal is lonely when saved for just one soul. We'd all be filled if only we live as if not alone. Who has riches yet to find? It is you together. Gifts to share of every kind, all for you as ever. It's for you, claiming your place, each a part of the human race. Sung together builds the song. It's been you all along. It's been you and you and you and you all along.
Well, the villagers realized they were right, and they forgave Canny and Small for tricking them. And they forgave Canny and Small for tricking them.
We forgive you.
In fact, the whole thing gave Mayor Rudy an idea.
Friends, I would like to resign as mayor of Oxter. I never really liked the job anyway. And in my place, I nominate Canny and Small.
But we're travelers. We come from east of the sun and west of the moon. We can't just settle down.
When we were making that soup, we didn't feel worried or poor. You taught us how to be a community again.
And you know, what this town needs is somebody has their wits about them. In case you didn't notice, we're not too smart.
So, how about it?
Well, being mayor is a pretty big job. We would need some serious compensation.
We can offer you all the soup you can eat.
It's a deal.
So Canny and Small became mayors of the town of Oxter, and although Oxter wasn't a big city, not like Blinsk, or even a large town like Swither, the people of Oxter were always happy, because they knew that as long as they had each other, they always had enough. And every day, around supper time, they would all come together to share a pot of amazing, miraculous, tasty, wonderful stone soup. Join us at the back for Mug Up as we continue the tradition of sharing. And may all of you go from this place knowing that there is enough for all. God provides all we need as long as we come together in community to share. Amen. Amen.